gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. And as we do every Wednesday during the football season, we are sitting down with the voices of Bakersfield College football. That is Kenny, Calvin, and Rob Chavez. Gentlemen, how are you? Fantastic season opener for the Renegades. How are we feeling going into week 2 in this home opener against, oh Lord, I dropped the name.
Allan Hancock.
Thank you, Allan Hancock. I don't know why I dropped my name on that one, but how are we feeling?
Well, definitely grateful for you guys as always. Last week was beautiful. City's excited to see us being able to join you guys, but the excitement of the first game for us was beautiful because everything that we went through last year, it was a result of how we can finally finish a game. That's what I got. That's what I loved most out of this past week.
So you bring that up because I know that's been a struggle for BC the last couple of years, especially with these close games. What this year do you see that we didn't see last year?
I mean, I would say consistency in the kicking game, and minimizing big plays.
Pat McAfee will be happy with
turnovers. We had a point going into last week was winning the turnover battle. Me, Steve, and Rob talked about that during pregame. And I said, if we can win the turnover battle, no matter what our offense does or doesn't do, we'll be okay. And that's kind of what happened from a standpoint of the defense.
I mean, different defense, offense, special teams. I mean, they all showed up. There was a point in the game where we were on the fence for a second. But, I mean, going to, what would Rob say? Richard Gooden, don't call him Doc, had a huge game. Bubba all over on the ground. Plus, we had a blocked field goal. I mean, there was a point in the second half, I believe it was late in the third quarter, where we were like, okay, it's going to get close. But like you said, they turned out and, ended up taking the win 28-14. I was happy, went on the road. But coming up this weekend, we got our home opener. And like you said, I mean, what I got a message from my boy Chad Hathaway over with 1913. They've got a big thing going on with the Cool Zone tailgate. And you can go down there from 2 to 4, parking lot 7 at Memorial Stadium, and they'll take care of you. But what are we looking into, just preview of this game coming up?
Really, when it comes to Allan Hancock, they are I think they like to show that they're balanced. But what Kenny and I were talking about yesterday was that they're going to basically their whole offense is going to be predicated on the play of their quarterback. Just like last week, you had a real talented kid in Nate Bento. Now you got a kid in Drake Missamore who is a local kid who sat on the bench last year. They had a kid in AJ Vele who was their quarterback. He was decent. And, Drake, I think, just had a chance to sit, and he's local. So he's got a lot of people out in the crowd, and I think that probably had something to do with it. Now you're going to come out to BC. It's going to be, Greg even put it yesterday, 94, not terrible for Bakersfield, but on the ground, on the floor, it's about 10 to 15 degrees hotter. Yeah. So they're going to have to deal with the heat. But they showed, some, at least in terms of plays, they were about 55-45 on the pass. The thing is that the pass broke for some big plays, especially their guy Ryder Scheid, who's essentially their backup running back, but he's like their pass-catching running back. He broke off for a 46-yard run, had over 100 yards receiving. So he's kind of like their change of pace back. But, I mean, they got 4 guys that carried the ball, 4 receivers. So they're kind of like a balanced offense, just like BC. And how can we be surprised? Mm-hmm. Their last head coach and their last offensive play caller was a guy named Seth Dameron, and he's calling the plays here in Bakersfield.
So obviously there's a lot of history between these two teams. Let's talk about that a little bit. And the last couple of years, they have been very, very close games. How is the feeling coming into this one? Do you feel like this is a must-win for the Renegades, obviously with the season just starting, and we want to get out on the right foot, obviously, at home?
Well, one of the things I love talking about in the history of the Allan Hancock and Bakersfield College battles
Here
is
it
the
comes.
fact that I had a 50-48 win in my 1995 campaign where I caught a fake punt for 60 yards to win the game 50-48. So like this tells you how heated these rivalries can go. Put up some points sometimes it's some great defense. But like Renegade Rob said, with having Seth here, we definitely want to make sure we get these guys back. Like, this is personal at this point. 2 straight wins versus us. We definitely have.
Last year we got a win last year, but
we got the win last year, but prior to that we lost 2 straight.
They had lost 3 straight, and heartbreaking as well too. And last year we were kind of in the same situation where we were against Santa Ana, where early we were down and we're like, I don't know what we're gonna do. All of a sudden, there was this adjustment at halftime, and this was the come out game for Malachi Statler. He was kind of honest, modest, for the beginning, and then all of a sudden they decided to put something together, and that was also that game that we had the 3 drives, 3 different running backs scoring a touchdown. So it was pretty cool.
Right, and getting back to Chris's question, do I think it's a must win? I think when you're a new coach in this position, based on how you got the job, I think every week's a must win. Because as soon as you lose, somebody's going to say something, right?
That's absolutely
and that's what me and Rob said during last week's game when it got close, or when they went back up. I was like, oh, man, this might be – I don't even want to hear the roar of the community if we don't get this win. So seeing Coach find a way to get that win, at least we don't have to hear it for another week.
Yeah,
but you're going to hear it.
After that big holding call when we had the 44-yard pass, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Those are always heartbreakers. But, I mean, this obviously kind of gives me a little bit of a shade of a revenge game, a little bit, obviously, with our new coach, with the local boy on the other side coming in. Who do you think is going to come in with more intensity, though? The guy playing for the coach or the guy playing for his own teammate? Because, personally, I think it's always playing for the coach.
Absolutely.
The coach needs the win, whereas the player, you can kind of get over if you don't win. So
right,
but
right.
Yeah, and there's something different about when these guys in the first week they're coming out into Memorial Stadium, especially with this being the 70th anniversary game. Kenny and I walked out, about a month and a half ago. We walked out of the new Renegade Athletic Complex, and where we walked out, and where the players walk out, it's kind of crazy because it used to be exactly where you would walk into the stadium, out of the Romain Cleroux Fieldhouse. And, there's an iconic picture of Kenny, walking out arm in arm with his guys and Coach Bowser into that Potato Bowl in '94. And it's pretty cool to be able to see it from that vantage point. So even if whether or not you're a local guy or if you're a guy from Athens, Georgia, you're going to walk out of that athletic center and you're going to see, the most iconic stadium in junior college sports in the United States. It's going to be pretty cool. I mean, that right there, in terms of the juice for pregame and all the intangibles that are off the field, I think BC's got an advantage.
So you already mentioned it a little bit, the 70th anniversary. Talk about that. And you guys talked about it a little bit on Greg's show yesterday. What can people expect if they're going out to the game this weekend?
Right. So 70th anniversary of the stadium, the great stadium built by the family of Hall of Famer David Manning, Bakersfield College Renegade and Utah State legend. So all the teams who come up, they'll be registered. They'll get a badge during the game, during halftime, and throughout the game. They'll be announced throughout the years to highlight each team. All of these former players get in free. It is also First Responders Night. So shout out to our first responders that keep us safe and comfortable in these situations.
They kept the fire away from my house last night.
Thank God.
Right.
I did just get word from our boy Fessler saying that the game has been pushed back until 6 o'clock. It's not the 4 o'clock that was scheduled because of the heat index.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Which matters.
So,
and on top of that, though, everybody is free as well too. I know the Renegades are trying to work out some sort of a ticketing system. So advantage Renegades fans, because of the snafu, everybody's gonna be able to get into this first home game for free.
Oh, fantastic. That's great to know.
Wow.
See, you don't have to pay to go see this. Just go check it out. I mean, BC football is always fun to go check out regardless, especially when it's at home. 70th anniversary. What's a better day to go out there? Go beat up on Allan Hancock for the weekend. But real quick, I would be remiss without asking you guys this. I mean, we talked about it a little bit last weekend. First, Kenny, how do you feel about your Seminoles taking down Bama?
Oh, man, it was a highlight of my weekend. I've been a Florida State fan for over 40 years, right? I remember watching my first Florida State game, and the first time I ever visited the stadium, and the first time I ever met Deion personally as a player. I always wanted to be the guy. He's the reason why I cheered for the team as a whole. To watch how we had the snafus last year, after the disappointing years of being passed over in bowl games, how great does it feel to start a season beating Alabama? Again, I was part of the coaching staff at LSU under Saban when we beat Bama. It's a great thing to beat Alabama. They're one of the schools that ripped us off from a chance to get to the promised land a couple years ago. So to start a season off like that with Castellanos, it was beautiful. But everybody talked about Castellanos. That defense was flying around sideline to sideline, and I was just so hyped because it reminded me of our 95 teams with Peter Warrick and the defense flying around. I loved it.
I agree. I thought it was a great win for you guys over the weekend, and potentially a wake-up call for everybody who's been shying away from Florida State for the last couple of years. Rob, I'm going to shift over to you when it comes to this whole Texas situation with Arch Manning. Did you actually get to watch the game at all? Did you get to see this debut?
I had a chance to watch just a little over 2 quarters of it, and the thing is that, I'm this is not me defending Arch Manning, but this is me more so trying to put this into perspective in the fact that, his both of his uncles had some pretty easy competition their very first game that they played in college. This guy's playing the defending national champions in front of the Horseshoe in Ohio State, 100,000+ people. They're doing a Lee Corso tribute before, which was amazing. And this guy, so what do you expect out of a kid with all the pressure put on him, and you've got probably the stingiest defense in college football coming after you? I mean, again, it was for him to be able to still have the opportunity to be in the game and it be competitive, that says something at least about a Steve Sarkisian team that usually travels pretty well and they compete. You typically never see Steve Sarkisian going to big places and get blown out. He's at least going to make a game out of it, and that's what I see.
So,
and me personally, I think it was a beneficial for Arch to get in and get out of that game. And now I can learn from it.
Oh, 100%. But
Absolutely.
I guess I'm in the minority here when I say this, but I blame Sarkisian for it. To be honest with you, I don't think he put him in great situations to win that game at all. You went on it went on 4th down multiple times in the first quarter, and it got stuffed. You were right on the goal line. It didn't work. I don't know why you're trying to quarterback sneak in that situation against one of the best defensive lines in college ball. I don't know. I think Sarkisian's the problem. I don't think it's Arch.
Chris, I agree with you 10,000%. When I saw that goal line series, and fun fact, we have a BC Renegade in Young Crosby on that staff. He's one of our former quarterbacks. He's a coach on that Texas staff. So I'm always rooting for him. But that goal line series where you try to run inside run against the best defensive line in college football and 2 guys that are going to the NFL, and then you try to tush push with Arch, I felt like that was just horrible play calling. And everybody loves Sarkisian's play calling, but I definitely gave that loss to Sark.
Thank you. I said the same thing.
Again, but he gets his teams prepared. But when it comes to play calling, there's a difference. Look,
man, I am a USC fan, have been my entire life. So I have a very, very lukewarm ability to say I like Steve Sarkisian. Okay, he is. But I've never really seen him as the offensive genius that everybody keeps calling him. And just watching that game, I was like, there were multiple instances where you could have taken over this game. It's not like Ohio State's offense was killing you. The freshman quarterback looked awful at points, and Arch had moments where he was fine. You just couldn't protect him. So change it up. That's all I was thinking during that game. But before we let you guys go, anything else that we need to know for this game on Saturday?
We definitely want to highlight guys like Brody Herta. That guy was flying around last week.
Brody Schmurda.
You balling if you get a nickname before the end of the game. So Brody Schmurda. we
Schmurda.
like Bobby Schmurda. As far as how he was playing D. Richard Gooden having the impact plays that he had from a secondary perspective, and Aiden Moreno, watching those guys do things to keep the defense in front of them, it gives me a good feeling going in and facing a guy like Drake Missamore. He's a guy that's a quarterback. He passed a lot, but he didn't run the ball a lot. Last week, Bento carved us up on the ground. He was basically Josh Allen. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Bento was Josh Allen. That's why the game was close. If we can find a way to keep this Missamore guy in front of us and minimize the big plays, this game can get ugly.
Do you think
they got a lot of beef up front for Hancock, but the thing is that the Renegades probably going to be getting a little bit healthier. Got a couple of guys they're going to be coming off of the injury list that'll be able to help out the defensive line. But no matter what, I know Coach Thompson's got something dialed up. And again, congratulations to Coach Thompson for, getting off and getting 100%. A win. I mean, he joins the legends like Coach Bowser and Coach Chudy and Coach Grider, who all got wins in their very first games. So, he's off to a good start. I think he's going to have something dialed up for Hancock. And Coach Dameron is definitely got to have something dialed up for those boys out there.
100%.
Hey, Coach Thompson is the winningest coach in BC history right now at 1,000%.
When you're batting 1,000, it's not much better than you. Now, do you think, though, that what you saw last week from a scrambling quarterback was more of just an oversight? Maybe they weren't expecting him to run like that, or is it maybe a mishap from the defense that they need to fix it?
You expected. He was just so good. Like, our defensive line had opportunities to keep him contained and in the pocket, and he would outrun the angle. Like, this kid was definitely one of those players as an individual, did so much. I want to say he had 300 total yards himself, about 86 on the ground and, upward of 200 plus in the air. So when you have a guy like that, he's going to make plays no matter what you game plan for.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it as always, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Salute, guys.
Good luck.
I will talk to you on Saturday on our sister station, Kern Radio. If you can't make it out to the game, it's free. So there is no reason that you can't make it.
You can't make it to this
game.
But
if you can't, you can join me over on our sister station, Kern Radio 96.1 FM, the home of the Renegades. We'll take our final break, wrap up the hour right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.1 FM.